goes missing every year, and the normal rules of public sector financial accountability don't seem to apply. So the first thing we have to do to get our transport system fixed up is that we have to start applying some rigour and some serious economic analysis and social and environmental analysis to our transport decisions. When they announce a road of national significance, this government, do you think they seriously investigate other potential solutions to solving localised congestion? No. They make a public political announcement they're going to build a road of national significance, and then they spend millions of dollars telling the engineers to go away and design a dual carriage motorway. So we need to change the whole structure and methodology of the way that we make transport decisions, take a much more hard-headed look at the economic value of these projects, but also consider the social and environmental impact of these kinds of projects. The second thing is that we have to integrate our transport system. So we have to look at all the modes: coastal, rail, roads, public transport in our cities, our ports, and we have to fund them properly so they can do the job we need them to do, so they can compete against each other and deliver the most efficient way of moving people and freight around the country. And the final point I want to make is that we have to break down the silos and see that transport is an incredibly important part of economic development. It's how we move people and stuff around the country, but it also shapes our cities and our towns and our communities. And we have to make smart transport choices for the future in a way that builds wonderful communities for us to live in.
Do you literally want me to read out the numbers of the projects that we put into our alternative transport plan? I can, but it might be kind of boring, so I won't do that. Instead, what I would like to say is that one thing that Ralph said, and I've heard from other economists here in New Zealand as well, is that it's a real challenge to reduce our carbon emissions by transport. And that is a pervasive view. And the reason people think that or assume that is because we just had constantly increasing car dependence in New Zealand for the past few decades. Up until really the past few years, when oil prices and low economic growth have meant that actually traffic volumes have stopped growing, and we haven't been consuming an increasing amount of energy for transport. So historically, I think the way that people broke this down was right-wing market-type people thought that this was all made on a clean slate. It was a free market, and people had chosen to drive because that was the most efficient outcome, because markets are perfect. And then I think more of like the left, wing, maybe green, community-oriented people looked around on the ground and thought, man, this sucks. This can't be right. This is totally inefficient. And they thought, we got to get these people to get out of their cars. They're bad. Business is bad. People are bad. They got to get out of their cars. And I think the new paradigm that offers us such a huge opportunity to build bridges, across political spectrum, is to recognize that actually both sides were right and both were wrong. This outcome is really inefficient, and that means that we have a huge opportunity just by changing government policy, because it wasn't the free market, it wasn't New Zealanders who chose this, they had no other choice. It was bad central planning that assumed that we had to have increasing vehicle use at any cost, and that's wrong. So how great is that? That means that suddenly we actually have the opportunity to spend a lot less money. We don't have to force people to do things they don't want to do, and we can decrease our emissions from transport. And I think that this is a really exciting time, because things are only going to get better if we can convince the government to not go down the road that we've already been down the past decade.